What we do here is go back.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Bare Knuckles Most Wanted. I'm Matthew Kohler, my co-host Matt Seibel. Tonight we are joined by Mr. Christian Roberts and Mr. Mark Godbeer. How you guys doing?
Oh, good, man.
Very good, very good. So you guys have had some stuff going on. So you've been busy working with Spartan and trying to get that up and rolling. So tell us a little bit about it, guys.
Do you want to go first, Chris?
Okay. It's about 4 or 5 years ago I created the Spartan brand. Originally as a pit fighting company. So we've got that off the ground now. We've had a good few 5 or 6 shows with the pit. You know, I had Mark in my sights for a good while. You know, he eats and breathes the game. He's sold the earth. You know, fighters love him. He gets on with most people. But the main thing, you know, about Mark is he's real, man. He's straight and he's cut and he's real. So when we got together and I asked him if he'd like to run a part of Spartan with me, you know, it was Mark's idea, readily saying, you know, you're doing the pit, you know, you're doing well at it. Let me do the ring. And, you know, so it was born. So, yeah, pretty much how we got together, really.
Awesome. So Mark, what's your interest in this? I know that obviously you're an experienced bare knuckle fighter, and what drew you to Spartan in particular?
Well, for one reason, first of all, I have to apologise to the viewers. I have got a little bit of a blurry screen because I cracked my camera, so you have to excuse me for that. So basically, the main reason was obviously I'm 38 now. Let's be honest. I've probably got a couple of years of fighting left. So I've always wanted to stay in the fight world. After I finish my fight career, you know, I want to start teaching and promoting, etc., etc. Christian come along. When Christian come along and offered me this opportunity, I spoke to him. He said, "Do you want to take on a branch?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I would like to take on a branch, but if I'm going to take on a branch, let's you know, venture out into the ring side of things, you know." So yeah, this is where we're at. Our first show's being lined up. We're ready to go. So everything's in place now. Just waiting to release the final installments once we've got, you know, the go ahead with a couple of little issues that we've got. And then, yeah, Spartan Wars Ring BKB will be alive. So,
that's awesome. Well, we'll look forward to that. So we've got Justin Sims in the comments. Justin helped me out a ton this weekend. Great dude. And he says, Mark Godbeer is the #1 heavyweight bare knuckle fighter, period. So
yeah.
got a fan from a guy who knows. He's a prolific cameraman, producer in the combat sports world. So
Yeah.
Definitely somebody that would know. So hey, what's up, Justin? And thanks for all your help this weekend. So you're talking about putting some things together with a ring. So before it was the pit, but now it's going to be a transition. And is that going to be just based on, you know, are you only doing the ring on on the branch that Mark's a part of, or is that going to be standard across the board with the organization?
Do you want to take this one, Christian?
Sorry. No, we're going to be. I'm going to be still running the hay bale shows. That's for sure.
Okay.
Now they'll be the main Spartan hay bale shows. Spartan Wars Ring BKB. To start with, that's 2 different sports straight away. You know, the pit is a world away from the ring, and the ring's a world away from the pit. So What Mark's doing is Mark's an expert in what he's doing. He's been a ring. I've only ever worked with the pit. Mark's running it under the Spartan brand, but ultimately it's going to be, designed to run with the very best of them eventually. We want to get up to speed. I will say, as we go on, we're not in competition with anybody. We love to see all companies flourish, and I believe in Mark Godbeer with his will to succeed, is second to none. I believe we've got a good guy in the helm,
Very good. Very good.
I think as well the point to put across is I've seen, especially lately, I've seen a lot of new bare knuckle boxing companies. They've come to fruition, and what's actually happened is they've tried running before they can walk, and when it's come to the actual game day, it hasn't happened. So my main goal is to basically just be truthful with everyone, be truthful with the fighters, be truthful with everything. Look, this is a new company. We're not in there to compete straight away with the top guys. But one thing we are there is to make a statement, to first of all show people we can do this. And then once we build our brand, we build our brand. As we build our brand, the fighters build with us, So that's where we're at with it. We're not promising everyone in the world at the moment, but what we are promising is as we build, we are going to build everyone with it as well. No one will be left behind, But we're not going to fill everyone with empty promises. And I think that's what a lot of people do, They're not honest. Me being a fighter myself, I've been a pro fighter since 2008. Me being a pro fighter myself, I've been fed so much, bullshit over the years. I don't want to be that promoter. I don't want to be the person that's feeding people with crap. I want to tell people what's actually going on from the start, where we're at. Do you want to join us? Do you want to be with us? Do you want to build the brand with us? And then if you do, then as we build, I'm going to build you as, I'm not going to leave you behind. We're going to bring you with us, if that makes
Absolutely.
sense to you guys. Yeah.
Absolutely. And just to touch on Howie Atherton's comment, what's up, Howie? Just saw Howie and got to hang out with him a couple days ago. But Howie said that he's mentioning that your lens is fogged over. And guys, if you are joining us just late, the reason that Mark's camera looks a little bit foggy is because there's the camera is cracked on the phone. So had a little debacle with that. But listen, we're just happy that he's here. So.
We've all seen Mark. It's a good thing.
Yeah, we know what he looks like. So,
listen, guys, as well. I haven't fought for 18 months because of this COVID crap. I need to fight. I need a new phone.
There you go. So, Mark, tell me about the ring. Is it going to be a standard boxing ring, as far as size wise, or everybody's in the bare knuckle world doing something, trying to put a different spin on the ring. So tell us about yours.
People doing circles and triangles. Maybe you guys will do a star.
So basically, what we're going to run with first of all is it's going to be a standard ring. I think we're going to go with maybe a 16-footer because I don't want it too big. I don't want people to be able to sort of like jab and move. I want to have the action where. So I think with a 16-foot ring, you're going to get that. There isn't many places to hide. You still have to engage in a fight. So and I think the way we're going to do it is basically exactly the same as pro boxing rules, except for it's going to be 2-minute rounds, not 3-minute rounds. Standard fights are going to be 3 times 2 minutes. Is that what we're agreeing with, Christian? Do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. When I'm not dropping
3 times 2 minutes, and then obviously with title fights, we're going to put it up to 5 times 2-minute rounds. So, but apart from that, it's going to be pretty much pro boxing rules, So it's not going to be like the BKB where you can hold and hit and stuff like that. So it's going to be standard pro boxing, proper boxing, bare knuckle boxing. It's not bare knuckle fighting as BKFC put it. This is going to be bare knuckle boxing.
Very good, very good. So, and is the rule set in the pit fighting going to be? I know that you said it's basically 2 different sports, Christian, but so you're going to have the pit fighting, and then you're going to have the ring, the bare knuckle the bare knuckle boxing inside the ring. What are going to be some of the differences in the rule set between the two sports, as you called it?
Well, first off, we boast the smallest arena in combat sports. Our hay bale pit is only 8 foot by 8 foot. And I can guarantee you, if we have 20 fights on a card, they're going to end as badly as you would like them to.
Okay.
So we deal in knockouts, man. And anybody will tell you that. You watch the footage on YouTube, you watch footage wherever you go. It's gruesome, man. It's brutal. But listen, that's what we're aiming at. Now, my kind of sport with the pit, the rules, 20 seconds if you get dropped. The medic can throw a red towel in and stop the fight to examine a cut, but then let the fight go on. Or the medic can stop the fight, doctor can, or the fighter can quit. We never get that far. They're normally knocked out. So, that it's a pretty gruesome rule set that we've got. It's going to stay that way. Our sport is more, and this isn't taken away from pit fighters, it's more about who's got the biggest shot and who's got the biggest chin, the biggest heart, where what Mark's going to be bringing here is the art of bare knuckle boxing, which is, I suppose, hit without being hit as often, or if any, if you can. Where our one is, you're going to dance in the rain, you're going to get wet. So I think what Mark's going to bring is an element of skill to what he's doing. It's going to be a skilled art, what you're seeing in the ring with Mark, but with us, it's just brutality from day one.
Very good, very good. And so you guys are going to be working together to help each other grow, I assume. And so here, one question that I have about the pit fighting is, how do you scale that? Do you have aspirations of growing that to a point where it's in a large arena, with a huge amount of people that are going to be, in some kind of a sold out arena watching some dudes in an 8x8 hay bale ring? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Can you ask me again, please? Because I lost the signal for a moment.
No, that's okay. My question was, how do you scale the pit fighting? How do you scale that? Do you have plans or aspirations to be in like some big sold out arena someday with the 8x8 hay bale ring?
Well, listen, first and foremost is we are struggling at present to get indoor arenas for the hay bales, because obviously they're a fire risk, or even when they're treated, people frown upon them. So we are looking for the design of a pit that can be made, to suit the guys. It'll be 8x8 inside. But meanwhile, outdoors. Yeah. I mean, you think that the first show that I ever had, there was like 12 people there?
Oh, no. Yeah.
Well, it was an acquired taste. And then the second show, there was 300. The third show, there was 450. The fourth show, there was about 550. The fifth show, about 500. And the sixth show, we packed out an 800. This time in 2 weeks, we've got about 1,000, 1,200 people coming to an outdoor event. It's growing all the time. How big can it get? Listen, I've said it before, and this is no disrespect to what Mark's doing, because he's an expert in that field, and I respect anybody who steps in any arena. But if you've got $50 in your right pocket and $50 in your left pocket, and I said to you, in your right pocket, you got $50. If you go to Spartan Wars, there's 20 fights on, and 19 of them will end with a knockout. Or I've got $50 in my left pocket, and you can go watch the ring boxing, and there's 20 fights on, and 18 of them will end on points. I know where my ass is headed, So, so that's what we're going to keep. The brutality. Mark's going to have the skill. Do I see pit fighting growing? It's an acquired taste, but that acquired taste is growing every week. We've built a massive fan base. We're only 4 years old. We've got 19,000 members in the group. The fighters are coming thick and fast. We've had some great fights on. Got some epic fights to come. So, yeah, long may it continue. I hope it grows big. And like I say, we're kind of unrivaled in what we're doing, because there's no one else really doing it apart from, I know the Russians have got a hay bale pit, but it's about 40 foot wide. So, I know there's other people out there, but are concerned with what we're doing in an 8x8 square. It's exciting, man. You need to tune in, because 2 men enter and 1 man really does only leave.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mark, 2 questions. Yeah. First of all, have you ever considered fighting in the pit?
Listen, I'm a fighter. I am a fighter. I fought all styles. I fought MMA, I fought kickboxing, I fought boxing, bare knuckle boxing. You know, I'm even looking into maybe fighting left way. You know, I'm one of these fighters. You know, so if would I fight in the pit? Yeah, of course I will. Yeah, no problem whatsoever. No problem whatsoever. Me and Christian come up with a deal that suits both of us, then I'll fight in the pit. Christian knows that as well. So but I think at the moment, obviously, I've if I have just signed a contract with a company that is coming back, and they are going to make big waves because I do also know they have got big investments. So I've just signed with them. I've been loyal to them because obviously they've looked after me. So but obviously in between they do let me fight for other companies and stuff because that was a part of my contract as long as it doesn't tie in with their sort of fights. So you know, if Christian finds me the right opponent, then yeah, of course I will. I don't mind having a scrap in a pit at all. I don't mind having a scrap, to be fair. And it's been so long for me as well. I haven't fought, and genuinely, this is what people don't realise. Like over with all this COVID crap and that, I've literally had 8 or 9 fights cancel on me. You know, one of them I even went out my way and got to. I literally done 2 weeks quarantine in Dubai, got to Vegas, training for weeks in Vegas. 2 weeks before fucking I could fight, ended up coming down with coronavirus, which really messed me up. You know, so I have had a rough ride. The last 18 months, I've had a really rough ride with my fight career, but I'm still here. And I have got big fight news on the horizon. That's pretty much all I can say on it at the moment. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Brandon Lambert says, when am I coming over to beat up Good John? I don't know if he's talking about in the pit or in the ring, but is that a fight you would entertain? Either one of you guys?
I would. In a flash.
Yeah, he would. Personally, I don't. I'm biting my tongue here now. I'm really biting my tongue. Yeah, I would, because I'd love to see Tyler give him a fucking good hiding, if I'm honest with you. But I'm trying to keep this interview professional, so as far as Brandon
Fair
Lambert's concerned, I don't really want to give him the airtime he doesn't deserve. So down to Christian.
Absolutely. So
I'll just go on record
yeah.
and say Brandon's a prick, but go ahead, but move on.
Okay. All right. Well, Brandon's confident, but you know, we'll listen. If it's a fight that makes sense, then let's see it. If not, then you know,
Yeah,
who knows?
I think that, you know, like, all joking aside, obviously, let's be fair. Let's talk business now. Let's talk on a business sense. So, you know, Brandon's listening. Let's talk on a business sense. Christian, he's here with me. Listen, it is one of those fights that probably would sell because, as much as, you know, Brandon's, you know, he's made himself out to be a sort of a bad boy in the bare knuckle world. He's had one fight. Tyler Goodjohn is a very, very, very experienced fighter, you know. Fair enough, he lost against Palomino, but he took him the distance and give him a good fight, you know.
Good fight.
So there's a lot of people that probably would like to see that fight because Brandon's created an image for himself. So
Can I just say, is there anybody watching this interview that thinks that Brandon Lambert would have come through that fight with Palomino?
Can you say that again?
Is there anybody at home or in the world of bare knuckle boxing that thinks that Brandon Lambert would have survived the 5 rounds with Palomino?
I'll tell you my opinion is that I think there are very few people that could survive 5 rounds with Palomino, and I'll leave it at that. I mean, Palomino is a very, very tough fight for anybody. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
And I do sort of get Brandon's game, you know. Brandon is trying to make as much noise as he can, and in you know, I do give him respect. In one point, he's maybe he is taking on the bad guy image to get the fights. So he's just making noise to get the fights. So this is where I'm at. if Tyler Goodjohn wants to fight with Brandon, this is where we're at. Brandon said he would give him a 10K challenge, okay? If Brandon wants to put up 10K, me and Christian will put up 5K each of our own money for Tyler to fight Brandon. So, and then, but then, is no disrespect to Brandon, but Tyler's a different level. Talking professionally, he's a different level. Does he want to put his name to it? So maybe he doesn't. So we will see. We will see. So
we will see. Well, you heard it here, guys.
Yeah.
There've been challenges issued. Brandon says he'll put up his 10K. These guys are saying that they'll put up 5K each to match it. And Brandon just says in the comments that I'm reading, done. I'll pay my own way there. So, look, maybe that's something we could see in the future. So that would be it. I would bet that there are people would tune in.
Oh yeah,
I'll just say people would watch 100%. It. People would watch it. So,
but
go ahead.
Obviously, no disrespect to Brandon, but from Tyler fighting Palomino, like literally the world's best, taking him 5 rounds, putting on a brilliant fight, to fighting Brandon, 1 fight. He says he's got a Muay Thai career, but whereas I've never seen any footage of that, So, and I've trained in Thailand a very long time, pretty much my whole career. So, again, I don't want to sort of. I do appreciate what Brandon's doing. So,
sure.
before Brandon, goes out of his way to freaking try and mug me off all over social media, I do appreciate what he's doing, but we can only work with what we've got. So
there you go.
Maybe if Tyler's interested, then we can work with it. So that's where I'm at with it.
There you go. So, Mark, you mentioned that you signed or have you signed, or you have intention to sign with another promotion coming up here?
No, I can admit this much. I have signed a multi-fight deal with Valor.
Okay.
Yeah.
I figured that's who it was, but I didn't want to ask directly in case you weren't supposed to say it, but yeah, so I'm looking forward to what they're going to do. I think that's an interesting concept as well, and I've had some really good conversations with Ken Shamrock, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do with Valor. So it's going to be interesting. But so here's another question for you, Mark. So you're going to fight for Valor, and you're also building a new promotion.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility that we could see you fight in your own promotion?
Yeah, like I said, of course I will. Yeah, of course I will. I'll fight. A lot of people, they say, "Oh yeah," but like, I'm a fighter. I'm not one of these guys that if the deal's right for me, I'm at the stage in my career now where I'm not gonna fight for peanuts. I'm not gonna, do things for nothing. I've got 4 children. This is my full-time job. So if the deal works out right for me and Christian myself, then of course I will. I'll fight on my own promotion. Why wouldn't I? But it just means Christian's going to have to have a bit of extra work because I'm going to be training and not be in the promotion sort of side of it.
And that's why I ask, because I feel like that's a lot, to train and prepare for a fight, because that in and of itself is a full-time job, and I can't even imagine the amount of work and time that would have to go into promoting one of these events. So that would make an interesting dynamic. So Christian, what do you say, man? Are you willing to take on the extra responsibilities so we can see Mark throw down in the bare knuckle boxing in his own promotion?
As I know that Mark hasn't read my Facebook wall yet, but I've announced today that I'm going to be fighting in the pit early next year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So he can run my show while I train for my fights, and I'll run his show while he trains for his.
That sounds like a fair trade-off to me.
So there's one thing we have touched down on, and I'm going to openly admit this, and Christian can back me up with this. So obviously, after I was supposed to fight Mickey Terrell on BKFC, a lot of things happened. I don't want to badmouth anyone or anything, because I never like to burn bridges, because I never know where I'm going to end up in the future, But one thing I will say is that fight didn't happen completely down to visa issues. 100% visa issues. They released the fight 3 weeks before it was happening. I never even signed a fight contract. Okay. And also, I also said to them, for me to get there, I need a P1 visa. I'm not spending another £5,000 or £6,000 of my own money quarantining in another country for 2 weeks with no coaches, no this, no that. Like, you either start looking after me, and get me my P1 visa, which I'm legally acquired. Otherwise, I'm not fighting. Okay, Mark, no problem, no problem. They released the fight 3 weeks before against Mickey Terrell. I had no P1 visa in place, which takes at least 6 weeks to come across. Okay, so and then all of a sudden, it was like they threw me under a bus. I felt like they did throw me under a bus. Like I said, I don't want to burn bridges, but I'm just speaking the truth. I felt like they threw me under a bus, and I felt like they knew I couldn't get a visa. And by throwing me under a bus, what they wanted to do was basically build Mickey off the back of throwing me under a bus. So what I will do is will say, if I am going to fight on my own promotion or Spartan Wars, and we've already offered this to Mickey Terrell, okay? If Mickey Terrell wants to fight me, and if he thinks I'm running, then I'm willing to put 10K of my own money into it, and he puts 10K into his, and the winner takes all. I'm willing to do that, and I think Christian's willing to do that with me as well. So there's my offer on fighting on my own promotion. If that's the only time I probably would fight on my own promotion, because I think it's one of those fights where it is one of those fights that I want to happen along the line somewhere, and I don't think it's going to happen in BKFC now because of what fools they made of themselves last time.
Yeah, and I think that there's, there may be some barriers to getting Mickey back into the BKFC also.
Exactly. That's what I meant by what fools they made, not BKFC, you know?
Yeah, so that was kind of a bad deal. I don't know all the details of the situation, but from what I've seen, and of course you can't believe everything that you see online, but there was a post that Mickey put up and then he took down, which basically
we all screenshotted that. All of us. I
Yeah.
think the whole UK screenshotted it, so there was no getting away with
Yeah,
it. You know?
yeah. So basically, he came into the event knowing that that he had COVID, and went ahead and fought. So I would be, if that were me, and especially given the situation right now, and there were a number of people who got sick after that event. And listen, who knows if it was directly because of him, but when something like that happens, who else are you? Of course, they're going to blame Mickey. You went out and said it publicly. So I would be surprised if we see him back in BKFC, but who knows?
I don't mean this disrespectfully, but this is, I've generally been fighting internationally and pretty much in America for the last pretty much decade of my career. This is the difference between fighting on local shows, in tents and stuff like that, to fighting internationally and then coming out with statements like that when you've got commissions and everything else involved. You just don't put statements like that up. That was a big, big mistake he did by doing that,
Yeah, and Brandon saying DK Money, the TikToker, had COVID also. So I didn't know that. But if that's true, again, I know that it's quite a journey.
This is quite a grey area we're going into.
Yeah. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on the topic, but it is crazy, and it's a shame. But maybe we'll see the rematch in Spartan, or the rematch. Maybe we'll see the match that never happened that was supposed to. So there you go.
We've already put it to them. We've already put it to him and his manager. And I believe Christian, what was it his manager said?
It's a fight we don't need.
It's a fight we don't need. So, and let's be fair, I think I'm pretty much the only undefeated heavyweight in the UK now. So
I ask you, Mark, is it a fight you need?
Great question.
For my own head, yeah.
Okay.
Just to prove a point. Yeah.
Well, there you go. And what's up, Clay Teal? Clay says, "What's up, you sexy people?" I don't know if you guys know. Yeah, I'm sure everybody knows the ring, boy. What am I talking about? But what's up, Clay? Always a pleasure to have you in the chat, sir. But yeah. So guys, tell me when, Christian, when is your next event taking place?
My next pit fighting event is 2 weeks yesterday, so the 25th of September. We've got 25 fights on, 6 title fights. It's going to be like a festival atmosphere. We're showing the Anthony Joshua and the Usyk fight after on the big screen. So that's going to be in Oldham, Manchester. So
Great.
Exciting times. And then we've got another one, 23rd of October, which will be Fight Fest 2. And then swiftly moving on to November 13th, Spartan Wars Ring BKB 1.
Okay, so Mark, your first event is in November.
Yeah.
That's exciting because that's right around the corner as well. What have been some of the biggest challenges that both of you guys have faced in getting these events together? And you know what? Go ahead.
Trolls ringing up venues telling them that we're trouble and the same old.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people don't get is when we're entering in this world of the Ring BKB, there's a lot of jealous competition. So when I say a lot of jealous competition, I'm not bringing in any names or anything, but there's certain BKB companies in the UK that will do anything they can to try and stop our event happening, i.e. ringing up the venue saying there's going to be big trouble, this, and this. So one thing I've made sure I've gone out and done, obviously I'm not releasing the venue yet because of these sort of problems, but I've made sure I've got people like local authorities, local councillors on board, and they're all aware of what's actually going on behind the scenes, and they're actually backing us. You know, they're ready for what's actually going to happen. They're ready for these phone calls. They're ready for this. So I think the main thing is as well is to get the local councils on board, get the local authorities on board, and also bring money back into the community, i.e. start using the local companies to help us out, local ring companies, local, just local, just everything. Everyone we're trying to use is just local companies to put money back in the company. Also, as well, we're going to run charity things on the night, like raffles on the night, etc. Collections on the night. So everything we earn, off the back of raffles and stuff like that, we're going to put back into the community, local boxing clubs and stuff like that. So I think the main challenges we've had to deal with and address before we and lock in before we release every last final bit of detail is basically getting the people that count on board and let them know what's actually going on behind the scenes. So, you've got to play it smart. There's, you guys know as well, there's a lot of jealous people in this game that want to see us fail. And our main objective is to shut them out before they can shut us out. So we've just got to play this game smart, and that's what we're doing.
Fair enough. So you guys have so much going on. Christian, on your end, you said it was just trolls and people that are out to throw a monkey wrench into the deal. That you think that's been the biggest challenge that you faced?
It's going to be the biggest challenge we face putting these shows on because I've got experience of putting them on, so I know how to put a good show on. Mark's got experience from being a competitor all over the world. He's got a good resource for getting fighters on board. He knows how the fighters should be treated and they want to be treated. Listen, if we get it right between us, and now this isn't in any way a competition cry or anything else, but if we're putting on great shows and great fights and stuff like that, people are going to want to come and watch. People are going to tune in. People are going to watch. And there's other people out there that don't want that part of the pie diluted anymore. So that will be your biggest challenge is people that want to pull you down and see you fail, that want to see this or that, the other. But you know, I started the pit fighting company, you know, and I've done it with everybody laughing in my face and saying it wouldn't grow and it wouldn't do it. Listen, now we're probably the second highest payers in the UK, maybe. You know, I've got more fighters than most companies. You know, we've got a really big fighter base. So, you know, you've just got to push on. You've just got to show people the proof's in the pudding, you know. And I think that with Mark and myself and the hunger and the passion we've got to put great shows on for fans and fighters alike, I think we're going to be a problem for anybody if the pie doesn't want to be shared. You know, we're just looking to put on good, fair 50-50 fights every time and put on shows that people want to come back and watch. Nothing more.
Cool. So there was a question that was up there. What did y'all think or learn from the Ragnarok failure that we actually have been covering on our show? We've kind of tried to follow the whole story from the beginning, and it's been pretty wild.
I'm glad you picked up on that because I read that and I wanted to answer that question.
Yep.
But basically, the first thing I want to say about that is just to express to everyone that's fighting for us is we are a startup company. We are not going to promise you the world knowing that we can't really deliver it. So one thing I think we need to learn is to walk before we run. And I think that's where Ragnarok failed, is they tried to run before they could walk. So, you know, we know we're not in it straight away to compete with the best of the best out there. We know that. But one thing we do know, off of a couple of back of successful shows, we can build it and build it and build it and build it. So that's what we've, you know, I think it's just simple business logic is don't run before you can walk. And I think that was the big thing with Ragnarok. That's where they failed. They tried to compete with the best straight away on the first show. So, you know, that this is our goal. Our goal is to walk before we can run, but also be honest. Be honest with our fighters. Be honest with the crew we're working with. Be honest with everything, and build it together rather than, you know, fill people with empty promises.
Interesting. So, Howie says, "Who do you think? Who do you think ran off with the money?" But my question is then, I mean, was there money for someone to run off with? Because we've heard two different stories as far as that goes. So what do you guys think?
I've tried to stay out of it because I know Andrew Bakewell. You know, do we get on? Not always. Do we have any time for him? He's all right, I suppose. You know, but you know, I know a bit about the setup and that. There was Ragnarok, and you know, I don't know if there was any money or anything. I had a failed show a good few years ago, about 7 years ago, and I ended up paying out £7,000 to my fighters. The only thing I would say is, have the fighters been paid? You know, did they split the bill 50-50? Was Stanley good to his word on his interview when he said, I'll pay him 50% of what's owed? You know, there's been no update from that. So we ask you guys a question. When's the next episode?
That is a good question. That is a good question, and so that's a fair point, and we do need to definitely follow up on that and find out, because he did say on our show that Stanley said he was going to pay 50%, his 50% of the fighters' purses that they were owed. So, you know, did he do it?
I've been involved by several fighters saying no.
Okay, so as of right now, based on what we know.
Sorry, I think also as well, I think it's important to realise, you know, with all these other people that's involved and stuff like that, when we're trying to build our own brand, it's not to worry about anyone else's. I think that's the key.
Yeah.
You know, as soon as we stop worrying about everyone else's and concentrate on us, as a company, and as a promotion, you know, let them slag us off. You know what this game is like, Chris. You do as well, don't you? Like, no matter how good we do, or you know, we're going to get slated, we're going to get slagged, we're going to be this. But as long as we stay true to our words, stay true to our fighters, that's all that matters. You know, so. We'll see. We'll see where we're at.
I just want to go on record and say that I watched the interview with Jim Freeman Dove the other night, and although we're not in competition with them, and I love what they do, that guy's a fucking bellend. Sorry, that's my.
No, not at all, not at all, not at all. But so I want to touch on what Mark
I
said.
won't give you my opinion on them. Keep it out.
but but Mark, you said that one of the things that you touched on was that we need to be honest to our fighters and be
Yeah,
and be fair with people. And I think that obviously I know that you guys are much more experienced in this industry than I am. I'm sure you've both have forgotten more about combat sports industry than I'll ever know. But
yeah.
I think that one of my biggest takeaways in my experience is that, man, like, why, or maybe it's a question, why is it so difficult for people in this industry to just be honest and fair with people? Like,
Do you know why?
why is that such a problem?
Genuinely, because it's full of crooks. Simple as that. It's full of crooks
And I'm the
from the
fucking
bottom
biggest.
to the top. It's full of crooks. I'm not saying everyone because there is some good promotions out there, but like a lot of people, it's not people who are out for themselves, not the sport or the fighters. Whereas I'm coming into this, I'm not out for it for myself. I don't care if I break it, as long as I break even my first show, I don't care. I'm not in this for myself. I'm in this for the fighters and the sport and the expansion of the sport. I love it. It's a passion of mine. It's a passion. Fighting is a passion of mine. It's gave me so much over the years. And I'm coming towards the end of my career now. I'm 38, so it's like now it's time for me to start giving back. And a lot of the people that comes into this, a lot of them haven't even put a glove on in their life. It's only the true fighters, the ones that actually put gloves on in their life. That they understand it from from a fighter's point of view. The ones that just come into it riding off the back of the expansion of bare knuckle, what they're doing is they're in it for themselves. That's my views on it. So yeah, I don't know. People have different views, and it's hard because no matter what I say or what I do, there's always got to be people that's got difference of opinion. So everyone's in it for different reasons. So
Gotcha. Well, guys, I know it's extremely late there. What time is it where you guys are at?
11:45.
Okay, so yeah, I mean it's getting pretty late. We want to give you guys this evening back here. Any final thoughts, closing words, anything that we didn't touch on that you want to make sure that people know about Spartan before we let you guys go?
Yeah, we're fucking taking over.
It's a good attitude.
There you have it. There you have it. How about you, Mark?
I think the main thing is, when me and Christian first announced that we were going to do a show together, pretty much people laughed at us. They all laughed at us, and then obviously COVID kicked in then, so that's kept us behind the back of the scenes. But what we've actually done since COVID's kicked in is we've put our heads together and we've really planned things out. So just watch your space and then see who's laughing in 12 months' time.
There you go. There you go. So anybody that you guys go ahead.
A quick shout out to my sponsors,
Yes.
Scott West
Yep.
Trophies.
Yep.
All you guys, I forget what they're all called, but all my sponsors, you're all top guys. You know who you are. Check out our group on Facebook and you'll see all our sponsors at the top. I just want to say, without the sponsors and the guys pushing from behind us, this would be impossible. So massive love and respect to those.
Very good. Well, guys, we really appreciate your time, and thank you for coming on and telling us about your organization. I'll be looking forward to it, to seeing what happens, and come back anytime. You know how to get a hold of us, and we'll if you have something to say, you know who to talk to. So we appreciate y'all.
Sweet, guys. Thank you for giving us the platform.
My pleasure.
Thank
You guys
you.
have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next time.
See you guys. Thank you.
All right. Very good. All right, everybody. So that was a lot of fun. Before we go, we should shout out our sponsors as well.
Hell yeah.
Of course, we want to tell you a little bit about Dringer Nutrition. So Dringer Nutrition, they can meet pretty much any of your nutritional supplement needs. Talking protein powder, you're talking, recovery products, pre-workout, all those things. You can get them at drinkernutrition.com. Definitely check them out. Also, we want to talk a little bit about Dope Champ. They can serve your Delta 8 needs, talking gummies, tinctures, and vape products and flour. All those things are available through Dope Champ. So thank you to our sponsors. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We really appreciate you as always. And of course, tune in next time. We got another interview coming up here in a little over an hour with Jeff Houston. We're going to do a BKFC 21 recap.
I was going to say, it's not even an interview. It's just
it's a show. We're going to
show on the following Sunday after every BKFC event. We're going to have a show with Mark Houston to recap the
Jeff Houston.
Mark Houston.
So that's gonna be
So
it's not an interview so much as it's a new segment on our show. So we are going to do a recap on each BKFC event on the Sunday following the event with Jeff Houston. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Tune into that tonight at 8 Eastern, 9 Central. So that's coming up here in just a little bit. And again, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace out, guys.
What we do here is go back.